Tottenham, and Anthony AJ Ajay Joshua. What happened? I'm tempted to play Obia Nyobia, but rather I'll play Sinach. I know who I am. I'll be back. We're talking about tobacco today. Stick and stay.
Chosen generation, we've been called for to show His excellence. Hey. All I require for life, God has given me, and I know who I am. We are a chosen generation, we've been called for to show His excellence. All I require for life, God has given me, for I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I know who God says I am, what He says I am, where He says I'm at. I know who I am. I'm working in power, I'm working miracles, I live a life of favor. I know who I am. I'm working in power, I'm working miracles, I live a life of favor, for I know who I am. Hey. 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 Joy 99.7. We are a chosen generation. We've been called for to show His excellence. Yeah. All I require for life, God has given me, and I know.
That's right, all you require for life, God has given you. And I'll tell you something, if God wanted you to smoke, He wouldn't have given you lungs, He would have given you a carburetor. And not an anus, but an exhaust pipe. So know who you are. Well, Tobacco Day. Well, no Tobacco Day fell on the 31st of May. We're finding out today what Ghana has been doing to tackle the threat of tobacco. You know somebody who smokes, and even if you don't smoke, passive smoking can kill you. I've got in the studio with me Dr. Sadiq Farid. He's head of disease prevention and control at the Ghana Health Service, and next to him I have Labran Musa. He's the program officer for Vision for Alternative Development, VALD. Stick and stay, tell a friend, we're talking about tobacco on Ultimate Health. So we're told 8 million people, or close to 8 million people, die every year on account of tobacco. A cigarette is the only product that if you use according to manufacturer's instructions, you will definitely die. So do people still smoke? Why do they smoke? And what is the health impact? And what's the tail of the tape when it comes to Ghana's response to the tobacco threat? You can WhatsApp your questions, concerns, experiences with tobacco. Whether you smoke it yourself or whether you are affected, impacted by somebody's smoke. Thankfully, in 2011, we passed the public health bill, and now we have Section 6 of that, which addresses smoking in public places and also the control of tobacco. Dr. Farid and Labran, you're most welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
My compatriots in the fight against tobacco.
Cool.
How are we doing in the fight, Doc?
Thank you very much, Dr. Notidua.
Simply naughty by nature. Properly, simply naughty by nature.
Yes.
Right.
And we thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk to Ghanaians about tobacco.
Right.
Tobacco use is a problem in Ghana, just as it is in Africa and the world. Okay. It is a problem because from the Ghana Statistical Service study that was conducted, 1 out of every 10 adults in Ghana uses tobacco product.
1 out of every 10?
Yes, it's 9.2 or so percent.
Uses tobacco products?
Yes.
Okay.
And this is west, in Upper East, Upper West, and Northern regions, where the percentage is about 12%.
So up north,
yes,
right? And if I can maybe properly and cautiously say, in our most deprived areas, we have a spike in tobacco use.
Exactly. And tobacco is normally used by the poor. That is the problem with tobacco use. The poor use more tobacco than the rich, globally.
Right.
And it's in Ghana too.
Okay.
The region that we consider are poor, deprived, underprivileged, they are the ones that are also smoking more.
Right.
And not only is it worrying that 1 out of 10 adults smoke, those in junior high schools are also smoking.
Children?
Yes, cigarette. Through most of our actions, which I will later enumerate,
Right.
tobacco use or cigarette smoking among junior high school students, 13 to 15 years of age, over the last 15 years, has reduced from about 4.2% to 2.8%.
4.2%
It
of
used to-
13 to 15-year-olds in junior high school
Yes.
were smoking or
Yes.
using tobacco products.
Yes. At first,
According to our
every
service.
25 junior high school students you took,
Right.
every 25 you took, 1 was smoking cigarette. Though this number has come down, and therefore you need to take 33 or so before you get 1 person
Right. It's still
who is still using cigarette.
right.
But we want junior high schools to be cigarette free,
Right.
to be tobacco free.
Children
Exactly.
to be tobacco free.
Exactly. So the tobacco industry has observed that in Ghana and therefore in Africa, tobacco use through cigarette has been declining. And because of that, it is shifting attention from the use of tobacco through cigarette to other forms, which we shall be discussing.
Newer products will be discussed.
Exactly.
Right.
Which we'll be discussing.
So the industry is deceptive, right? And they've got all sorts of tricks to get
Sure.
people addicted or hooked
Exactly.
to tobacco.
Exactly. And we shall go into that.
Right.
There is nothing good in tobacco use.
Nothing positive.
There is no
Nothing
health.
beneficial.
Nothing. There is nothing good for health, nothing good socially, nothing good economically in tobacco use. They want people to use tobacco because
They make money.
when you use it for the first time, it contains nicotine. And since the nicotine goes into the brain and informs the brain to use more, they only want you to try. Once you try, then the nicotine gets into your blood, and then you can continue to be using. You want to stop, but the nicotine says consume more.
Right.
And the more you consume, the more they make money.
Okay. If you've just joined us, it's 15 minutes past the hour of 2 on Joy 99.7 FM. We're talking about Ghana's, should I say, response to the tobacco menace or the tobacco threat, and what we've been doing over the years. You just heard speaking Dr. Sadiq Che Farid. He's head of disease control and prevention at the Ghana Health Service, and he's given us statistics which suggest that we still have a significant problem when it comes to tobacco and tobacco use, and then the related problems and complications that it brings about. And alarmingly, we still have a significant number of minors smoking and patronizing tobacco products. Another thing he underscored is that in response to our best efforts as a country, a developing one at that, to fight tobacco, the tobacco industry has responded by introducing newer forms of tobacco products, which are still tobacco products and still contain the addictive nicotine. Right? We'll be talking about that and what you need to do and what you need to know to protect yourself. If you have any questions, concerns, you can WhatsApp us on 0244 340437. This is Ultimate Health on Joy 99.7 FM. Now, Labran, VALD, Vision for Alternative Development, has been should I say, a forerunner when it comes to fighting tobacco. We've been in this for years. And it's always good to see you. But on the community level, you've also mobilized. I'm not saying the Ghana Health Service is not on the ground, but you go into the communities. What is the picture looking like? Are people responding to these messages?
Well,
is there a real significant change?
Well, thank you so much. As Notafari indicated, let me also say a good afternoon to your listeners. And say that, yes, of course, the issue of tobacco indeed is a huge problem. And we are, like you said, on the ground, and we know what's actually happening now. So, as indicated by Doctor, the industry is shifting from the traditional cigarettes to other products, and I think we'll go into deep into that. But the youth are now into shisha. Smoking them more, so
using the water pipes.
Yeah, the water pipe, the shishas, and then we don't have much of the electronic cigarette system, but at least we know that some of the youth are also into it. But of course, with the issue of the shisha, that's what the cause of the matter is, And I think you asked why is it that the issue is rampant, especially among the student or the young children in the schools. It's all because of the kind of advertisement and the kind of appeal that the industries can do to attract children to smoke. So you have schools, primary schools or GHS schools,
right?
And then you also have shops that sells this cigarette product,
right?
So day in day out they see this product. They go on break time, they are going to buy their candies, and then they see them. So they see them display in the shops. So the more you see these products and how colorful they are, how how attractive they are, you are actually, how do you call it, enticed, to go into such product. And it is happening especially within our local communities, when parents send children to go and buy cigarette products, and then you know how cigarette is, when you go and buy and they ask you to light it, and you said it's a poor who normally smoke.
Even if they don't ask you, out of curiosity,
exactly,
a child can try it, just to look and look like and imitate an adult.
Yeah. So, but I'm looking at the fact that is a poor, like the poor and those who smoke a lot. So the person might not even have the means to even buy the matches, so he sends for a single stick, so light it when you are coming, and then like curiosity, he will be smoking it, and so to sustain the light,
right,
the burning part,
right.
Before so this makes children kind of hooked to the product, and then eventually they grow and become.
And you're seeing this in our communities.
This happening in our
across
community,
the country,
especially the very local communities.
Right. Okay, Doc, let me come back to policy, because we know way back, as far back as 2004, Ghana was one of the first signatories of the Framework Convention on Tobacco Control. We battled and struggled, and finally in 2011 we got our public health law, section 6 of which is a tobacco control section. Now, some of these things that Labran has talked about are illegal, right? Selling cigarettes to minors and all that, and so on and so forth. What is the health service and the system, the response system, able to do about this? In other parts of the world, for example, in the UK, you find kids outside the shop begging adults to buy for them because the shop owner knows and will not sell to children or underage or minors. Are we enforcing these laws that we fought so hard and so long for?
Thank you very much. In terms of policy,
right,
there are 6 strategic activities that we implement, and it has the acronym MPOWER. M means monitor the use,
right,
and monitor the tactics of the tobacco industry.
Okay.
Because we monitor the use of tobacco products, that is why we know that 9% of adults are using.
Okay.
And that is why we know that 2.8% of junior high school are using. And that is why we know that tobacco industry is interfering with the way we work and are now shifting from cigarette to other forms of tobacco use like shisha. So that is the M.
You're happy with our monitoring?
Our monitoring
capacity?
We can do far better, but it is to show that we are monitoring.
There is a strategy.
Exactly.
Right.
We are monitoring. And the P is protecting the public against tobacco smoke.
Okay.
So, in the Public Health Act, Part 6, which is Act 851, 2012, there is complete ban in smoking in public places in Ghana.
We have a broad definition of public space in our law.
In any place where only you alone is not there,
Right.
that any other person has a right to be there.
Right.
It's a public place.
And has a right to clean air.
Yes. So if you're in your house and your child is there, you can't say public place.
Right.
If you're in your car and your wife is sitting inside, becomes a public place.
Or your boss is smoking in the car and you're the driver.
Your boss has flouted the law
Okay.
if he's smoking in the car and you are inside. So the P is protecting against tobacco smoke,
Okay.
which we have used a law
Okay.
to ban. And not only the act, there's also tobacco control regulation, LI 2247,
That's right.
2016, which also gives us the opportunity to, in detail, define what we are doing within the act.
Okay.
So these two things support the legal position that we have
Okay.
in enforcing the P.
Right.
Then the O is offer help
Right.
for those already addicted and want to stop.
Right.
To offer help, at the moment we haven't gone so far.
Right.
What we have done is we have produced a tobacco cessation guideline with support from the WHO.
That's right.
That guideline contains some nicotine replacement drugs or medicines,
Okay.
which we are now discussing with Ministry of Health, the section that deals with medications. And the hope is that when we get those medicines onto the essential drug list, then we'll begin to go to public.
So what it means that a person who wants to stop smoking can now take advantage of these nicotine replacement medications to
Exactly.
gradually wean themselves
Exactly,
off.
exactly.
Right, as one of the strategies.
Exactly.
Okay.
But for now, we are saying that if people develop the strong will to stop, if family members will support people to stop, if friends will support people who are smoking to stop, that level of one-to-one support
Okay.
is what we are doing.
Right.
And those who cannot actually, who are still not able to stop, we have certain hospitals like the regional hospitals
Okay.
where doctors and nurses will be able to support and counsel people who want to stay away from.
So at facility level, Doc, just for my benefit of my listeners, you can go into a hospital and ask for help.
Oh yes, we have counseling
To
units.
quit, to
yes,
quit.
yes, in all the regional hospitals and in some district hospitals.
Okay.
Just as we have counseling session for tuberculosis, diabetes, hypertension, and all that,
Okay.
we also have counselors in the regional and district hospitals.
Help to quit.
Yes.
Right.
So that is the offer help to quit, the O
Okay.
of the empower.
Right.
Then the W is the warn against the dangers of tobacco smoke.
Okay.
The warning is what we are doing right now.
Right.
Public education is warning. Going to the schools and talking to them is warning.
Okay.
At first, if you bought a cigarette in Ghana, on the pack you would read harmful to your health.
Right.
Ministry of Health
A
said.
small font.
And
small
you could
type.
not even read.
Right.
Now, when you take the pack, 50% of the pack is occupied by a graphic health warning.
One side has a very big, bold warning
Exactly.
by law.
Exactly.
Right.
So Ghana has moved from text warning on the pack
Right.
to a graphic health warning. That shows that if you are not able to read by just looking at the picture.
The picture will also
Yeah, because
warn you.
evidence has proven that pictures can speak a lot than
Right.
words.
Okay.
And Ghana has gone that way.
Right.
So when it comes to the W, the sensitization we do, the schools we go to, and the packs warning
Right.
are satisfying the requirements for the W in the empower.
Okay. Great.
Then the E, which is also a strategic direction, is enforcing the laws.
The laws.
And here we are saying that just as we are talking, somebody will say that, but I just passed a place and somebody was smoking in public place where I passed. Yes, you that person who smoked the cigarette.
Right.
When you are not smoking, you hold the power to report the person to the police. You don't expect Chief Farid to move from the studios
Okay.
to go around the country and doing arrests. You have a right.
So, Doc, let me just slow down and break this down for the public. Somebody is smoking, right? By law, this is not allowed. They are required to report to
The nearest police station immediately.
All right.
You can even take photograph of the person as evidence.
Right.
Just like when you are there and somebody is stealing and you want to take action, or somebody is...
well understood.
Exactly.
But my question for you, sitting on top of our response or parts of our response, are the police adequately resourced, and would they take such a report seriously? Are they partnering with us in this quest?
Police is a law enforcement agency.
Right.
Police is a law enforcement
we know
agency.
that. I just want to
Exactly.
know how sensitized they are, because there are laws we've passed. We've got the allies, and you and I, we fought for this. But are they positioned? If I walked into, let's say, from here, Adabraka Police Station, and I said, I just seen somebody smoking, and I am empowered by the law, I have come to make a complaint. What specifically would happen?
The police know their mechanisms of working.
Okay.
But as long as the law says don't smoke in public places,
Okay.
and you have evidence to show to the police that somebody has smoked in a public place and you were affected by that, definitely they will act.
So you are,
But I agree with you
you are
that...
encouraging us to test the law.
Sure.
Okay.
And I'm agreeing with you that the police will need sensitization.
Okay.
If you take last year, for example, we did sensitization for the immigration officers. We did sensitization for the Ghana Revenue Authorities.
Okay.
And I think seriously, the police will need massive sensitization for them to understand the FCTC, the Act 851,
Right.
and also the LI 2247.
Okay, great. So that is enforcement. That's the E.
Yes.
Right.
And then the last one, which is the R, the Empower R, is the raise taxes.
Right.
If you raise taxes, then tobacco or cigarette costs will be high because the tax will be on it. And because the cost will be high, the poor who normally will use tobacco cannot afford.
So that's a demand reduction strategy.
Exactly.
You want to reduce the demand by making it expensive.
Exactly.
Right.
So in Ghana, there are two forms of excise taxation.
Right.
You can have specific taxation or ad valorem taxation.
Okay.
Ghana uses ad valorem taxation.
Okay.
And our percentage taxation is 175%, which is the highest in the sub-region.
Right.
However, ad valorem taxation is based on the face value of the invoice.
Right.
That means that if I purchase the cigarette and bring to Ghana, and I show to the Ghana Revenue Authorities that the cigarette I bought is 100 Ghana,
Right.
then I'll pay 100 Ghana tax.
Right.
But truly speaking, I may have bought the cigarette at 1,000 Ghana,
Right.
but
So
collected invoice,
You can under-declare.
exactly. Because you can do under declaration, it means that you can have any high percentage of ad valorem taxation, but you may not be able to have the impact.
So should we be moving to the excise?
So what we are discussing with Ghana Revenue Authority is to do a hybrid where you have ad valorem taxation and a specific taxation.
Okay.
The specific taxation uses the retail price.
Okay.
So if I say you are going to sell a pack at, say, 1 cedi, then we put the tax on that 1 cedi.
Okay.
So if you bring in 1,000 of the packs,
Okay.
we multiply the tax by the 1,000.
Right.
So in that case, whether you like it or not, you'll be taxed according to the retail price.
Great. 30 minutes past the hour of 2 on Joy 99.7 FM. That's Dr. Farid of the Ghana Health Service, Head of Disease Control and Prevention, taking us through the steps we've taken to curb tobacco use and address the menace, right? You may have several questions on some of these, and that's great, but it has had an effect. Indeed, the chunk of tobacco production or manufacturing has moved out of Ghana, right?
Yeah.
But again, in response to some of these strategies, a lot more smuggling is going on. And I'm glad he mentioned sensitizing customs and other departments, because, of course, if the cigarettes come in illegally, then we have a lot of challenges as well. 31 minutes past the hour. Let me just read a couple of these WhatsApp messages. You can send yours 0244 340437. Good afternoon, Norte. Please ask your guest for me, is tobacco consumption on the increase, and why are people still jumping into it whilst the harm it causes is great. Ajiman Joseph in Community 9 sends that. Note, please let your doctors explain. Oops, let me see, where is it now? Lost that. I'll go back for that in a second. Please, I work with a Chinese company. And the Chinese always smoke. They can smoke close to where you are working. Ever since this occurred, I have been coughing and coughing. I don't know if the smoking can make me cough like that. I went to the hospital and they say it's an infection. Please, I need your advice. This is Kwabena from DC. Okay, Doc will respond to that in a second. These days, you see young people, especially ladies, always smoking. And when you advise them, they won't listen to you. This is from Peter in McCarthy Hill. Right. So I'll probably be asking whether you should be reporting these ladies or not. Mr. Norte, please let your doctors explain the following to me and find me a remedy. What is the effect if one's carbon dioxide level is far higher or above the range? Is there a way of normalizing or reducing this? I'm wondering where this is coming from. Your CO2 level. All right. Right. So some questions there. There's still a question about why it's still trendy and why we're still getting people going and actually initiating smoking despite all the education you're talking about, Doc.
Thank you very much. In answering the question, I'll be responding to some of the
other ones.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
The industry knows that when you smoke cigarette, the nicotine in it is going to open the brain to demand more.
Mm-hmm.
So the nicotine in the normal tobacco, they have added or increased it by 4-fold. So when they take tobacco, then they add additional nicotine and make it a pack and use that one for shisha.
Right.
So when you use normal cigarette, the nicotine in it, and when you use shisha, the nicotine in it, then shisha one is 4 times that of normal cigarette. That means that they want you to be quickly addicted so that you can't stop. So he's saying that people are jumping to it. Yes, the first time they try, they think they are trying, but in trying, now they get hooked.
Okay.
So the danger is don't try. Don't let anybody.
The addictive process is what the industry is manipulating.
Exactly. Number 2, not only have they increased the nicotine to make it more addictive, what they have done is they have put perfume on the tobacco.
Flavors.
Yes. On the tobacco used for shisha.
Right.
So when the person smokes and the smoke comes outside and it passes through your nose, the scent is so nice. So you go closer.
Right.
And that is what is attracting the females.
And they're actually telling people that this is a non-tobacco product and it is healthy and safe.
I thought it's very dangerous. Number 3, the first is the fact that they have quadrupled the nicotine.
Right.
The second is the fact that they have sprayed it with perfume. And the third is the fact that they have put a sweetener.
Okay.
So when the smoke is on your tongue, it is like harsh or picky. So with all that combined, it is made very attractive.
But
and
still addictive.
Very dangerous.
Right.
And that when you even take in one puff, when you put the thing inside and then you bring it out, just one, it is like taking a full stick of cigarette.
Right.
So if you go there and sit and then you puff, then you keep puffing.
Right.
By the time you, the lady, you leave the place, you would have puffed a packet full.
Now, let me just add this, and David Kofi has also sent this in because many people listening to us all over the world and of course all across Ghana, they listen to us and they wonder. Indeed, they are confused. They say, well, if it's that bad and if there's nothing good in it, why do you as a health ministry or a health service allow somebody to import it, register it, and then take some taxes for them to kill us? Why can we not ban tobacco outright?
If Ghana decides to ban the use of shisha,
right,
the parliament can ban.
Right. We can.
Yes.
We can ban tobacco?
Sure. You can't ban tobacco because of the World Trade Organization and its rules and regulations.
Okay.
And that is why, as a country, we have a law that is making sure that you can't advertise, you cannot smoke in public,
right,
to make sure that we reduce demand.
Right.
But when it comes to shisha, especially when it has taken almost 15 years to move from 4.2% to 2.8 reduction.
Right.
And just at a go, shisha use among the junior high school students in Ghana is 1.3%.
Okay.
Shisha use among junior high school students in Ghana
1.3%.
is 1.3%. If you take only the females who are in junior high school, the prevalence is 1.7. Only the females. If
This
you
is actual empirical data.
yes,
we have.
27 we did global youth tobacco survey in Ghana.
2017.
Yes,
Right.
and we interviewed over 5,000 students in junior high school, aged 13 to 15.
And they are telling you that they're doing this.
Yes, and that the males,
Mhm.
if you took only the males,
Right.
it is 0.4%.
Wow.
If 0.4% of males are using and 1.7% of females are using, it means for every one male who is using shisha, 4 females are using shisha. And that
Seriously?
is very dangerous.
Wow. 38 minutes past the hour of 2 on Joy 99.7 FM. And this is mind-boggling, but as somebody who is part of the, should I say, the army that has been fighting this and pushing for legislation, this is not a joke, right? And if you look at some of the addictive diseases and other conditions that unfold as a result of tobacco use, you'd be amazed. In India, their Cancer Research Council, or should I say body, is asking for the banning of electronic nicotine dispensing systems. All these gadgets, e-cigarettes, hookah pens, and all these lighted things that you see. Because not only do they contain nicotine solution, which is highly addictive, they also add vaporizers and other things which are very, very, very dangerous for your health, especially when heated and in some form of combustion. Right, and there are kids in Ghana using this, and sometimes I've handled a case where a kid was caught by a school teacher, but managed to lie to the teacher that it was his inhaler. He has asthma, and the teacher didn't have a clue. And we need to extend the education, right? So I'm going to read a couple more messages, and then when I come back, I'll be looking at the damage, especially to Ghanaians. And again, Doc, I'll come to you because I did some work in the upper regions of this country, and I found that for one particular beer distribution company, indeed for a brewery, their biggest volume of sales is up there, right? So that's alcohol. And that's another conundrum we'll come to in a second. Let me just read out this. Good afternoon, Joy FM. I work around Accra Central near the Children's Hospital. I see military and the police smoking weed with their military van parked around their joint. So who should I report to? I need your help. So the officers, according to this person, I think it's Edmund. The officers you say I should report to, they too, they are doing the distance. Doc, isn't it an oxymoron? This is from Dede in Maryland. To use products containing nicotine, such as patches, gum, etc., to stop the use of tobacco smoking, etc., etc., hookah, shisha. Isn't nicotine the main culprit? So why use it to stop? There's a basis for this, right? We can give you safer, should I say, sources of a nicotine hit and gradually reduce. We do it for other substances as well, right? So the patch gives you the nicotine in a safer, should I say, mode, and then gradually we wean you off that. That's why it is done. Doesn't chewing tobacco have the same effect as smoking it? This is from Dede. Doc, chewing and smoking is still harmful.
Yes.
So take
okay.
Right.
All right. Thank you. The one who is working with a Chinese company that has a boss that is smoking a lot of cigarettes,
Right.
he has every right to report him to the police.
Mm-hmm.
He cannot sacrifice his health
Okay.
for the gains of the Chinese.
Okay.
Number 2, the police officers who are smoking in public places that the person is talking about
Okay.
will be an individual.
Mm.
It is not a Ghana Police Service
As a whole,
to decide to break the law that they are supposed
so
to
that person
enforce.
can also be reported.
Exactly. So that person should be reported.
Okay.
Don't leave that person. Even presidents of countries, are inducted to court. And
Right.
sometimes when they are found guilty, they go to jail.
Right.
So there's no point protecting a police officer who is putting your health in danger. The one who was talking about patch.
Yeah.
Patch and electronic delivery devices contain nicotine. And the junior high school students in Ghana, 5% are using electronic delivery devices using nicotine. And as you rightly said about India,
Yeah.
if you are close to a person who is using END,
Yeah.
what happens is that the person throws out nicotine.
Right. Puffs out.
Yes, and you take the nicotine inside.
Right.
So you get addicted as...
But I think Dede's point really is that a lot of people are deceived into thinking that when you use these devices, it is safer. And that is what we're dispelling here. Right?
It is never safe.
So those are not treatment or management
at all.
modalities.
Not even patch. Patch
Yeah,
is
right.
not part of the Ghana strategy.
Right.
Patch is not a nicotine replacement therapy that we have taken to be.
Yeah.
Patches contain nicotine, and it is part of the product that we are against.
Right.
Patch is like a plaster. You
Yeah.
see, the tobacco industry
It's
has made
transdermal.
they have made something like not transdermal. They have made something like a plaster,
Yeah.
right, which contains nicotine. So you just place it anywhere you can cover with a singlet or shirt. So whilst you are walking,
You get your nicotine.
it is delivering nicotine into your blood
Through your skin.
and makes you feel high.
Right.
But it is very dangerous. So what we are saying is that whether it is patch or it is electronic delivery device, they are all not acceptable.
Okay.
And therefore people should stay away from them. The people who produce them are using them to make money, millions of money. And because they have a lot of money, that is why no country is able to defeat them. And that is why WHO came with the Framework Convention on Tobacco Control.
Okay, great. 44 minutes. We have about 15 minutes to touch down. Now, somebody put up, you won't believe it, that some of these big hotels have shisha in their lobby where people smoke, right? Now, we've done a lot of work with hotels. Many of them have declared their spaces no smoking zones. Now, I'll ask Labran, because some time back, even the signage of hotels, we've had to challenge that. It's not allowed for you to use signage that bears the brand of a tobacco product. But somebody is drawing our attention that there's still hotels that have shisha and other things openly displayed.
Yes, yes, of course. I mean, in fact, there are a lot of, joints that we know of that, are running the shisha products. And that's why sometimes for some of us as civil sector organization, we feel that the law is not working as expected, because as far as some of us are concerned, shisha itself is supposed to be an illegal product in the country. Right. Because most of the shisha products in Ghana today are not registered.
Not
most of them are not. In fact, when we spoke with FDA says that most of the products are not, licensed.
But are we saying that if they were registered and licensed, then FDA or Ghana is okay with it?
Yeah, because see, the law, allows tobacco products. You understand? So it's a legal product. Once a legal product is allowed, but it must go through the process of registration.
The process of registration means that we know what it is in it.
Exactly.
And
yes.
we have passed it.
Exactly.
Doc, let me just bring this to you. So if I bring a shisha product and I go to FDA, what are they going to do? Because I've seen a statement online as well where an FDA officer has said shisha is illegal in Ghana. Now, I read the comment section below that, and people were saying, well, if tobacco is legal, why are you saying, you guys, are you confused? What is the position on shisha?
The position on shisha is the same as the position on the use of cigarette. Therefore, the use of cigarette and shisha are the same.
Right.
That means that you cannot smoke shisha in any public place.
Okay.
Just like you can smoke a cigarette in any public place.
Okay.
You cannot advertise shisha and its equipment.
Okay.
You cannot rebrand the equipment or the shisha itself. That means that if you want to use shisha and you own a hotel,
right,
or you have visited a restaurant, the only place you can use the shisha is a designated smoking area, DSA. And if the DSA of the hotel or restaurant has not been approved by FDA, then if your name comes up in the papers that this so and so hotel shisha is being smoked in the public place, then your hotel is going to be labeled that way and you will be in trouble. Well, so we are saying that if you have a big hotel and you are worth a salt, and actually there is a big hotel, recently opened big hotel in Accra here, and we were told yesterday that you can just walk in there and smoke. And when we sent people to spy, we saw that people were just smoking in the open, and we are taking photographs.
We've known that for a long time, and in this particular case, I remember distinctly reporting. Indeed, when they started, their nightclub was nicknamed or had a sign there which said DSA, right? As if it was the name of the nightclub. Okay. Now, a DSA is supposed to conform to specific technical requirements.
Exactly.
And the smoke from that designated smoking area should not be able to cross to any other person.
Exactly.
So why are we still unable to clamp down on this hotel?
No, FDA will do the clamp down. FDA is the agency responsible by law to clamp down those activities. And the truth is that FDA is going in a 3-step manner as defined by the law. The first step is that educate the hotels, educate the clubs, educate people in the restaurant. That is number one, and which they are doing. Number two is that if they happen to flout the law, for instance, I moved to a hotel or restaurant and people are using the shisha openly. My first thing there is to report to the manager that I'm being exposed to tobacco smoke. Let them stop the shisha. If the manager fails to stop them, then I take the manager and the hotel to the place.
All right. Today I've been very unfair. Let me announce the phone lines. 0302-216-541. Apologies. 0302-216-541 is getting hot in here, and it's not because somebody here has lighted anything, right? It's a hot topic. Hello, doctor. Please, if you can change your statistical figures from 2.4 and 0.7 to actual numerical figures. He did. He gave you the 1 in 25 and all that, right? Exactly. It will bring home the problem to the listeners. Okay, also, can't the government restrict the sale of shisha and other tobacco products to designated shops? I believe it will go a long way to reduce the sale of the products to minors. Wow. Good afternoon, Norte. My neighbor who shares a wall with me smokes cigarettes in his compound regularly. I smell the smoke from my house whenever I'm home. I spoke to him about it, and he told me I can't tell him what to do in his house. What can I do? I fear for my family, or is this partial or secondary smoking?
Exactly, that is secondary smoke, and he has every right to report the person.
Okay. All right. Hello, I have a caller on the line.
What the person is doing is like sitting in somebody's taxi, and the person is saying that I'm driving and I'm at the front and you are at the back, and therefore you can't interfere with my smoking. No, a taxi is a public place. You cannot smoke.
All right. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Oti.
Good afternoon. Who's speaking? Oti?
Oti Boate from
Right,
Cinema.
Share with us quickly.
Oti, I think that this fight must be hardened because I see some Chinese restaurants, you see them, they are doing like a glass or something. They're giving this Chinese members. They'll go there and smoke. You can see them smoking. And other side too, like if you sit down, if you dressing near, you hear the scent and the stuff. What should you do? Should you take the video of that restaurant or hotel and take to the police? Because what I say, the power of police, they report that somebody smoking, they will not do anything. In Ghana here, it's not working.
Okay.
To report the smoking to police, no one will follow you to arrest anyone.
Right.
So the law must be tightened. And to see something happen.
Okay, great. Right, and I think there was a short code or a portal for FDA, some reporting. I can't remember whether it was just the drugs or it included the tobacco as well. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Right, who am I speaking to?
Seth from Accra.
All right, Seth, share with us quickly.
Yes. My pH level is 4.4. And then I went to check the CO2 level at the lab, and it is far above the range. May I know if there's any remedy or if they can help me out? And why Me, I don't
Seth,
smoke.
Seth,
Yes.
just speak to my producer. But if you're talking about your personal health condition and lab investigations, there's a reason they were requested. Okay, we
No,
can't.
it's in relation to the it's in relation to CO2 level, which is more or less related to smoking.
No. No, you're talking about something different. But you give your number to my producer. I'll follow up with what you're saying so that
All right.
we don't
All
derail.
right.
Thank you so much for
All
sharing.
right. You're welcome.
Right. Good afternoon. Please, almost all the pubs in Osu and its environs display the shisha in public, and you see young ones all having fun with it. May God help us. This is Linda in Osu. Please, Doc, this reporting matter does not work here. Oh. Dr. Jay Ferry, they say EMFA.
You
Right.
see, we have to make sure that the system works.
Okay.
The law enforcement agency is
Just
the police.
before you continue, there's another one from Richie in Tema. I can assure you the Ghana police will not do anything, even if you caught someone smoking within their premises.
Okay, if so, police is one area you need to report. Another area you have to report is the FDA offices in the 10 regions.
Okay.
Food and Drug Authority by law is the one that will go and prosecute the person. Even if you report to the police, they will use FDA mechanism to be able to get the person to court, and FDA is the one that is going to charge the person in court and get the person prosecuted. So
Right.
police is one, but Food and Drug Authority offices is number 2.
Okay. All right. I was actually expecting that we had hoped that the FDA rep would join us, Olivia Boateng. She's had to go out of Accra for a funeral. So we'll get that angle also covered in subsequent programming. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Note.
Hey, Lukman, share with us.
Yes, I'm my boss. Good afternoon to your resource person.
Right.
Yeah, I think this shisha, in my area, there is a pub just on the roadside. It's been displayed there. The way you see them smoking it is very bad. But I also want to reiterate that, you see, Ghana, when they sit on television or radio station, they educate us and inform us what we should do. But when we take it upon ourselves, we realize that there's nothing that they can do about it. When you report it, I don't think there's any place that they will even mind you. They will not mind you.
Okay.
So we'll all sit back and look at what is going on. It's not good.
Okay.
I think the law enforcement should be able to enforce any law that is breaking. Thank you.
Great. So more on the the enforcement. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, who's speaking, please?
This is Ajman Joseph, Commissioner Kama.
Right, Ajman, you're welcome. Share with us.
Yeah, this topic is very important. Please, there are lots of things that should be banned in Ghana here. Guns are to destroy human beings, so it is illegal to handle guns. But this issue, the awareness is going on. But I think the ultimate thing that they should do is to stop the production entirely. Because when you report somebody to the police,
right,
the police will tell you that we have more important issues to tackle. So this one, deal with it. So if somebody smokes on me and I slap the person, they will tell me that I shouldn't take the law into my own hands.
All right. So, Ajman Joseph, let me just push you on this one. If there was to be a policy or a law that sought to ban tobacco, you would support it wholeheartedly?
Yeah, they should ban it completely.
Okie dokie. Thanks for sharing on our platform. Doc, the jury is out. Definitely Ghanaians agree with what we're saying, and they are aware of the dangers, but they don't think we are protecting them enough. What would you say to these listeners who are indeed Ghanaians and they are concerned and they want to respond to the message you're giving, but they're talking about the enforcement angle?
Yes, I believe that what they are saying is very legitimate, and it's a message that is also going to the police service, and I think they should listen to Ghanaians.
Okay.
Ghanaians are saying that yes, we want to protect our health,
right,
and you are the law enforcement agency.
Okay.
So please do your part, and let's trust you
of the job.
And yes,
they did ask a very important question. I used to ask this. It says, is the police even aware of this law to enforce it? I remember when we fought for the domestic violence law, we actually had to go as the coalition. We had to actually print copies and make sure, and we did training and capacity building for the judiciary, the police, and so many other things. It's a very, very, very important question you've asked. Is every police officer aware of every law that is passed and every law that exists on our statutes and able to enforce it. So we need to probably look at this leg of the fight as well, Doc.
Yeah, I sincerely believe that the Interior Ministry is aware of every law that is passed in Ghana.
Right.
And therefore, the ministry takes up the responsibility of making sure that it's enforced.
Okay.
But when it comes to the technical know-how of what the things in the law really means,
Right.
that is where we come in.
Okay.
And I think that we can do better than we have done so far.
Okay.
And I think we can increase our sensitization of the police.
Okay.
So to enhance their work.
Right. A lot of this year's thrust is on lung health and lung cancer and all those things. Don't let tobacco take your breath away. Now, let me ask, you made a point, and I want us to end very quickly with this. Can you guarantee Ghanaians that if you went to any public health facility, you will get assistance with regard to tobacco-related challenges and cessation if you want to stop?
Yes, I think if you went to any psychiatric hospital, you will fully get the support you need. If you went to any regional hospital, you would get.
Okay.
I'm not very sure if you get it in the district hospitals.
Right. So on that level, that's the level to which
Yes, but I think we
rolled
need
it
to
out.
decentralize further.
Okay.
And we will do that when we are able to get the replacement drugs
Okay.
onto the essential medicines list.
Okay.
But for now, what we are saying is that shisha use is a play by the industry to hook people onto tobacco use, and that everybody should stay away from shisha.
Okay.
If you are a parent and your son is using the shisha equipment and bringing the youth to the house,
Right.
and they are smoking, you, the person, the woman yourself, or the father yourself, you are going to get exposed. And therefore, everybody should be watchful of the youth and advise and stop them from using shisha.
All right, great. This is from Akosia Note. Good afternoon, good show. How are you? I went to an eatery and the people there were smoking shisha. We felt ill. Ooh, Akosia. Right. Quick word from you, community action.
Right. So for us, we think that there's a law, of course, but I think that government, have a ultimate responsibility to protect the people from the scourge of tobacco and shisha. And we have sent a petition to FDA, to ban shisha in Ghana because other countries have done it.
Right.
So I think that we can also do it.
Okay, great. So this whole hybrid and association with having fun and feeling good and substances is a difficult thing, and where it is flavored and it tastes good and it smells good, it's even more problematic. That's what we're being told. Avoid the shisha and the new products. The E products are also tobacco products. Word from Ultimate Health on Joy 99.7 FM. Many thanks to Dr. Che Farid, Head of Disease Control and Prevention at the Ghana Health Service, and of course Labran Musa, Program Officer, Vision for Alternative Development. Next on Joy 99.7 FM, we have Sunday Rhythms with the Liverpool fan, Belay. Charlie, you guys were awesome yesterday.
We had to be.
You were awesome, man. Right, so he takes over with Sunday Rhythms. We'll be back next week with another educative, easy to digest, transformative edition of Ultimate Health. Thanks to my producer, Abeku Sankofi, who hopefully, from the look of his lips, doesn't smoke anything. He better not start. I'm out. Bila is next.